Please join us in our opening hymn from This Bright Hour. From this bright hour and days to come, as we have gathered into one, open the gates and the light will shine all around. Let there be light. Wounds of the world begin to heal as peace with justice is made real. Open the gates and the light will shine all around. Let there be light. All are welcome, all invited to open hearts and open minds. In our living, in our learning, may we always be searching for truth and light. Now is the hour, join in the song, here in this place where we belong. Open the gates and the light will shine all around. Let there be light.
Good morning. Welcome to First Unitarian Church of Portland, where our mission is to nurture the individual spirit and to build the beloved community. We're so glad that you are with us this morning for our family worship service. At the end of our service today, you'll see a link that will connect you with our other learning community families on Zoom to socialize and reflect on today's service. And today we have a couple of announcements that we'd like to share with you. Later this morning, after the main service, we have our Q&A with Reverend Bill Sinkford, which is at 11:45. Bring your questions about First Unitarian Portland, Unitarian Universalism, theology, whatever it is on your mind, to ask our senior minister, Reverend Bill Sinkford. Also, Transgender Day of Remembrance is on November 19th, and there is an interfaith vigil that we welcome you all to attend. It's from 7 to 8 p.m. We're going to gather virtually and for an interfaith service featuring local and national spiritual leaders, including our own Reverend Bill Sinkford and Reverend Tom Disrud. Live music and a candlelight ceremony will also be included. We invite everyone to join us in this reverent observation. A virtual reception will follow the service when you are invited to join us in fellowship. And once again, we welcome you. Every Sunday, we light a chalice, and Cassandra will light our chalice here in the chapel this morning. If you have a chalice at home, I invite you to light it now. We are Unitarian Universalists. We light this chalice in faith, in hope, and in love.
From Shel Silverstein in his children's book of poetry, Where the Sidewalk Ends. If you are a dreamer, come in. If you are a dreamer, a wisher, a liar, a hoper, a prayer, a magic bean buyer. If you're a pretender, come sit by my fire. For we have some flax golden tales to spin. Come in. Come in. Come, let us worship together. This morning, I'd like to share a story with you called Carmela Full of Wishes. It's written by Matt de la Peña, and the pictures are by one of my favorite illustrators, Christian Robinson. Carmela scooted along the uneven dirt path, watching men stoop to work with their hands, her birthday bracelets jingling and jangling. The thick greenhouse air smelled of marigolds and overturned earth and fresh manure. Carmela knew exactly what manure was, but she didn't want to think about that. Not today. Today she awoke to candles in her pancakes, and her mom sang "Happy Birthday" to you and told her, "Go on, mija, make a wish." But Carmela's wish had already come true. She was finally old enough to go with her big brother. Carmela followed as he cut back onto the street at Freedom Boulevard, past the crowded bus stop and fenced-off repair shop, past the old folks' home where 200 old women waved smiles, past the huge home improvement store where her dad used to stand around weekday mornings waiting for work. Carmela tried to make small talk with her brother as their metal cart rattled, but her brother didn't make small talk back. He didn't want her tagging along. "Too bad," she told him with her glare. Just outside the laundromat, she picked a lone dandelion growing among the concrete weeds. She pulled a breath and leaned toward the fuzzy white bulb, but just before she could blow, her brother butted in. "Did you even make a wish? You're supposed to make a wish. Everyone knows that." "Of course I made a wish," she told him, but it was a lie. Carmela didn't know. Carmela helped her brother sort colors one-handed, helped him load the washers one at a time. While their clothes spun, her imagination turned, each new thought ushered in by a jingle of bracelets. Her brother found the sounds annoying and shot her a dirty look. "Too bad," she told him with her glare. She jingled her bracelets as she rode up to Miss Maria's vegetable stand, imagining a machine built into her bedroom wall, one that would spit out anything she could think of, but mostly candies. She jingled her bracelets in line at the locksmith's shop, imagining her mom sleeping in one of those fancy hotel beds she spent all day making for fancy guests. She jingled her bracelets at the bodega down the block from their old apartment building, imagining her dad getting his papers fixed so he could finally be home. She jingled her bracelets outside the pharmacy, eyeing the shiny new bikes in the window. Her brother stopped in his tracks. "Why do you have to be so annoying?" She thrummed her bracelets at him and said, "It's a free country." The only time she didn't reach for her bracelets was when her brother ducked into his friend's house. Carmela slumped down on the curb, silently imagining all the things she could turn him into. A cockroach scurrying away from the light, a wheelbarrow full of manure left in the sun. She stared down at the dandelion in her hand. It seemed so much more important now that she knew it was a place to put her wishes. What if she made the wrong choice? Carmela tried to hop a curb on the long trip home, but her tire caught and her handlebars twisted and she went crashing to the concrete. "Don't cry, don't cry, don't cry." But then she saw her dandelion crushed beside the drain. She looked up at her big brother, warm tears rolling down her cheeks. He lifted up her scooter. "You okay?" She shook her head and pointed. "My wish." He took her by the arm and led her back up the block, past the laundromat and the flea market, past the greenhouses and the smell of manure, past the overgrown park and across the train tracks. He didn't stop until they made it to an abandoned farmhouse near a cliff overlooking the sea. "Close your eyes," he said. Carmela closed them. "Now, make your wish," he said. Carmela listened to the ocean's hum in the distance. She listened to the squawking birds. She listened to the wind whistling past her ears. Then she opened her eyes. she saw hundreds of tiny white spores lifting into the air, floating out toward the far-off surf. The sky was full of wishes. "Let's go," her brother said. "Don't you want to know my wish?" she said. He shook his head. "If you tell me, it won't come true." She looked back one last time, then took off her bracelets and followed her brother home. That's the end of the story. Did you find yourself wondering what Carmela ultimately wished for? When Carmela was thinking hard about what to wish for, she had some fun ideas, but she also thought about people she cared about and what might help them. She began to think carefully about the importance of her choice. What was the right choice? She had thought about her mom, who worked so hard all day, her dad, who couldn't come home to live with their family because of his immigration status. And at the end, we saw how much she and her brother loved each other, even though they had been bickering that day, as siblings sometimes do. When Carmela stopped at the sea cliff, closed her eyes, and quietly listened to everything going on around her, beautiful sounds of nature, it seemed as though the right choice came to her, the most important things to wish for, to hope for. Well, this reminded me of a way of praying. Carmela found the answer she was looking for within herself, or maybe it came to her from somewhere else, but she seemed to know what mattered most. Have you ever found yourself struggling with a decision, trying to figure out the right choice or what to do? Finding time for prayer or meditation in a peaceful and calm place where we can focus on our thoughts or the present moment can be really helpful. When we take the time to do this, you might be surprised to find that sometimes the answer becomes clear.
In the story that Cassandra just shared, Carmela had some really big wishes. It reminded me of a movie that I saw when I was very little. It was called Pinocchio. Perhaps you've seen Pinocchio. It's the story of a puppet who has a wish to become a real boy. Now, if you think about it, that's a pretty huge wish. But this song from the movie Pinocchio reminds us that huge wishes are okay. And sometimes huge wishes are important for us to do to help lead us on the path to become our best selves. This is called When You Wish Upon a Star. When a star is born, they receive a gift or two. One of them is this: they have the power to make a dream come true. When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. Anything your heart desires will come to you. If your heart is in your dream, no request is too extreme. When you wish upon a star, as dreamers do, fate is kind. She brings to those who love the sweet fulfillment of their secret longing. Like a bolt out of the blue, fate steps in and sees you through. When you wish upon a star, your dreams come true.
I have a short poem by 13th century Buddhist master Dogen, who writes about a bodhisattva. And a bodhisattva is someone, through their wishes or prayers or actions, helps those who are experiencing suffering in the world and wanting to help them. And Dogen also mentions the word Dharma in this poem, and Dharma just means the teachings that the Buddha has offered. And the poem says, "You should entreat trees and rocks to preach the Dharma, and you should ask rice fields and gardens for the truth. Ask pillars for the Dharma and learn from hedges and walls. Long ago, the great god Indra honored a wild fox as his own master and sought Dharma from the fox, calling the fox a great bodhisattva." Like Carmela with the dandelion, that helps to spread wishes, what flower or tree or animal do you connect with for inspiration for a better world? As you think about what animal or plant or flower brings you that inspiration, we'll go into a minute meditation together and bringing into your heart the place to hold your own wishes to help the world.
Words adapted from poet Mary Oliver's poem, How I Go to the Woods. Ordinarily, I go to the woods alone. I don't really want to be seen talking to the catbirds or hugging the old black oak tree. I have my way of praying, as you no doubt have yours. If you have ever gone to the woods with me, I must love you very much. This is the day we have been given. Let us rejoice in it and be glad. Go in peace, practice love. Amen.
Amen.
Please join us now in the closing hymn, Go Now in Peace. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the love of God surround you everywhere.